Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Let's talk about how modern men and women ruined marriage. So, you guys are all aware of the fact that marriage is disadvantageous to men in the modern day, right? Because we get divorced, raped, we get screwed on alimony, screwed on child support, right? So there's so many downsides to marriage for men. And I don't necessarily have any bad blood towards guys who don't want to get married. I totally see the reasoning. But I want to propose a new philosophy, a new way of thinking as it pertains to marriage, because I will say this, I will say that a lot of older people that I see, right, in their 60s and their 70s and their 80s, they've been in relationships with their women for 30, 40, 50 years, and they have kids together. And I can tell you, they seem pretty happy. I live here in South Florida. I see, this is a big retirement area where I live. So I see a lot of older folks who are married, and they seem happy. They seem content. They seem at peace, right? They're not players. They're not going out. They're not, hooking up with this person, hooking up with that person. They're kind of just content with their women or man. And one thing I will say is that I think what ruined it for the modern man and the modern woman is the disposable mindset that we have of each other, right? So I'm not necessarily blaming women or men. I'm not pointing one group out. I'm just saying both, right? We have a very bad mindset towards each other when it comes to just we see each other as disposable. We feel that the grass is greener on the other side. We feel that we're always told never settle, never take what's in front of you. And that has some merit to it. That has some truth to it. But as far as marriage and long-term relationships, right, we need to do better, I think, because at the end of the day, our fulfillment, both man and woman, comes from having a family, taking care of children, raising children, right, alongside obviously our work and our taking care of our health and doing things of that sort. But I think men and women ruined marriage. I don't think it was just men. I don't think it was just men, or I don't think it was women. And I also don't think it's the government, right? Because we like to blame the government or people in higher positions for the way society is. And, like I said, it's true to some degree. But at the end of the day, we all make individual choices in our lives that either hurt us or benefit us, right? So when it comes to marriage and long-term relationships, I think it's crucial to understand that it's both of us. So let's talk about men, how men ruined it. Well, men, right? Typically, men in the past were admired, respected, venerated and honored, right? And in the past, there were great Catholic priests, there were great saints, there were great scientists, there were great emperors, great kings, great warriors, right? And in general, women respected men, right? And we knew that our society knew that, the men were supposed to be the leaders, the men were supposed to be the providers, the men are the protectors, the men are, the ones to basically take the lead and take charge and make sure everything's in order when it comes to the family. But now we have a situation where everything's usurped. So women are trained to be more manly, and as a result of that, men are, they want men to be more women-like, more feminine. And the reason why marriage doesn't work is because those roles are screwed up. And here's the thing. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what any new age person says, or political scientist says, or economist or anthropologist or sociologist says. Men are biologically better in leadership roles, that women are biologically better in follower submission roles, right? So you can say that marriage is not, marriage and long-term relationships aren't valued, but it's really a usurpation of the sexes that is making us feel like it's not working, when in reality it works perfectly fine, right? It's just that we aren't working perfectly fine. So marriage as an idea is not something to be like frowned upon or looked down upon. It's we're the problem. We're the f-ups. We're the idiots. We're the ones that don't understand our roles and don't understand how to behave, right? Don't get it twisted. Being in a marriage is a battle. It's a lifelong process, and it can be difficult and arduous. Long-term relationships and the like, right, are difficult and hard to maintain. But at the end of the day, right, it's up to both of us, men and women, to understand our roles and to understand that the way the marriage is going to work, the way that long-term relationship is going to last, the way it's going to flourish and end up in a great, like having a great family, the way it's going to end up that way is by us understanding our roles, right? And the way women ruined it, I would say, is that they just agree. I feel like deep down, if women really ask themselves like, hey, is the brainwashing true, or the universities and the music and the media telling me I'm strong and independent? It sounds nice on the surface, but it really doesn't work in a relationship. So I think women just naturally just are going along with the flow of what they're being told in the media, and they're not really questioning like the rhetoric that's being conveyed to them, right? That's being brainwashed into them. So I am of the opinion that women are just feeding into the problem, and obviously women have a more difficult time thinking outside the box because they're followers. So that's just their nature. And another thing on a side note is that women naturally are predisposed to want a man who has his stuff together, right? So if women are going around, and I mentioned this in another video, if women are in society, in the public, in universities, at work, at school, in the gym, at their hobbies or wherever they're at, and they're not seeing the strong leaders, right, of men that we should have, for the most part, right? We should have strong male leaders in every community, right? And we should have a surplus of strong men, right? It shouldn't just be like, there's like 1% of men that can, provide for a family. No, we need to get back to making it a reality for there to be strong men, right, in society. So if they're going around and they're not seeing this, and they're in colleges and they're seeing soy boys and whatever else, whatever else composes the modern man, overweight men, soy boys, right, men who play video games, men who are scrawny, men who don't have their shit together, men who aren't intelligent, men who don't know anything about finances, don't know how to fight, don't know how to charm a woman, don't know any game, right? Have no experience, no life experience at all, right? If they're going around and they see that, what makes you think they're gonna want to get married, right? And even if they do, right, even if they settle, right, and get married, the likelihood of that lasting and like flourishing is so slim, because it's like, if she knows like, hey, this guy isn't going to be able to hold his weight, or he's deficient in some degree that's going to hurt my ability to take care of my offspring, then I'm not going to be interested, right? So marriage, I don't think it's bad necessarily. I just think we have to take it seriously. It's not something, if you're someone who just wants to casually date, right, that's totally fine. But I think a lot of people make the mistake, both men and women make the mistake of getting married, and they're just like casually dating, but they just like the idea of things. They don't understand the seriousness that comes with it, right? Because to some degree, right, to be married and to have a flourishing relationship, right, that lasts decades, right, and continues to get better and evolve over time, that requires some degree of hard work, some degree of patience, some degree of understanding the other person, it entails like just enduring difficult times, and it entails you being like, as the guy, you having to constantly constantly having to level up, because if you're not leveling up, right, and you get complacent in a marriage or a relationship, that's when, that's why most guys become sexless in marriages, because they stop trying, they get comfortable, they have 1 or 2 kids, right? Their woman's there, they're comfortable, she's giving him sex, right? And then he's comfortable, right? He's got food made for him all the time, then he gets comfortable, right? So there's a lot of things that go into running a successful relationship and a successful marriage. And I think that most people don't understand like they don't understand what it's gonna take for it to flourish over time, and they don't see things through, right? So let's say like there's a problem, right? Financial problem, or you're arguing about something. Most people are so quick to just like cut the relationship or end the marriage, right? And then that's why, we have the unsuccessful rate of marriages, right? People are just so close to end things when they get tough, right, that they're unwilling to endure the difficulty. And that's what I talked about a second ago. It entails enduring difficulty, right? So I think the big picture, there's 2 things really that would like solidify the betterment of us as it pertains to bettering long-term relationships. And that's just like understanding like that the relationship will thrive when the man is in the leadership role and the woman is in her submissive feminine role, and that we're not disposable, and that some of the greatest joys in life come from having children, right? Now, can it be difficult at times? Sure, I see it all the time, right? Was it difficult for my parents raising me and my sister? Of course, right? But at the end of the day, right, having people in your life is priceless. Like, I still have a great relationship with my parents right now, right? I'm 24, and like I said, I'm glad my parents stuck together, and I want to see that work for everyone, right? Because we're better together, as cliche or corny as that may sound, we are better together. We're not necessarily happy or fulfilled when we're just chasing the next person, or having this mindset that like the grass is greener on the other side, right? Because it's not. You can hook up with one person, right? Then you hook up with the next person, then you feel empty again, or you feel horny again, then you want to go hook up with the next person, right? So your desire for sex and your desire to hook up and your desire for like excitement is only going to lead you down a path of like emptiness and unfulfillment and sorrow and despair, right? And I don't want that for any of you guys. So just understand that. And as far as like men, just like nothing comes good from, like I said, nothing really comes good from jumping to the next person, right? You'll only end up breaking other people's hearts. You only end up maybe having an affair baby with someone, which won't end well. Now you'll be on child support, right? You'll only end up having possible STD, right? So I've always thought like, damn, like living a bachelor lifestyle, like, is it really worth it? Think about it, right? You're breaking other people's hearts, right? Women don't want, as much as they, say that they want to be independent and want to hook up and have fun, they deep down don't. If you ask them deep down, they really do want one man, right? So as a guy, I think it's important for you to understand that, right? And stop living for your flesh as a dude, right? You have to control your sexual energy. You have to control your body, right? Part of like overcoming that need for sex and excitement and hooking up implies living a more spiritual, non-materialistic life. Now, are you going to have some materialistic attachments? Of course, I do. Everyone does. We're in a 3D realm, right? We're not in a spirit realm necessarily. We can access it, but we're not in that, right? We're in the flesh. So is it hard? Yes. Does it require you to be steadfast and endure difficulty? Yes. But you avoid, right, part of destroying your sib nature, destroying your like mommy behavior and wanting mommy, it really stems from an attachment to the mother, right? We want to be in our mother's womb. We want that warmth, right? That's why we crave women. That's why we chase women, because we want to feel at home. We want to feel safe, right? And at the end of the day, right, as a man, you can't live like that. You have to become a man at some point. So as far as, you know, overcoming your need for that, you know, we got to stop chasing women. We got to stop putting them on a pedestal. We got to stop needing their sex and their drug, right? I think that'll get a lot of things in order, right off the bat. And then a lot of the other things that I talk about, providership, protectorship, will start to fall into place as we break away from that neediness and that clinginess to the pleasure we get from, or the perceived pleasure that we get from hopping to one girl to the next, right? And like I said, you avoid a lot of things. You avoid breaking women's hearts. You avoid STDs. You avoid unwanted children. Guys, do you know how like negatively your life can be affected by having unwanted children? Like, it is insane to me how we live in such like a society where we just like, we'll just like get a girl pregnant and like we won't even really think too much about it, right? Or we like think like it's not like a life, or like I honestly think like, damn, if I had a child with the wrong women, like how much that would screw my life up, how much that would like screw me forever. And like I said, you have that kid forever, right? And if that girl puts you on child support, you're on child support forever, right? So you have to look at life like that. Look at the negative effects that doing that has on your psyche, has on other, like the woman's psyche, has on your health, right? With STDs, right? Then you're also draining your seed, right? You're spending your time and energy out in clubs, out in public, doing all these cold approaches, spending time on dating apps. Like, dude, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, can some people enjoy it, right? Can some people, you know, have fun doing that? Sure. But we're talking about marriage, and we're talking about thriving as a culture and thriving as it pertains to long-term relationships. How you doing, buddy? What's going? So I think it's very like important to understand that that's really where the joy comes from when it comes to relationships, right? So and you know, you can talk about how feminism has screwed it up and how the government, you know, like I said, alimony and all that, but at the end of the day, you know, our fear, and a lot of guys live in fear, like, oh, I'm not getting married because I don't want to get alimony or child support, or I don't want her to take everything. You know what? She won't take everything if it's the right person, right? And can you make mistakes? Can you not vet her properly and get screwed? Yes. But like I said, if you watch my content and you listen to the things that I discuss, right, and you look for the qualities that I talk about for getting the right woman, you can't be misled, right? Like, you're gonna have a way higher likelihood of things working out if she's not a 304, if she's not addicted to drugs or alcohol, if she's not on social media, if she's not out and about, right? Like, those are the things you got to watch out for. And if you avoid those things, then there's a good chance she'll be submissive and a caretaker and, you know, like healthy and want to raise a family. Like, there's a good likelihood that will be her, right? Because she has to pick something, right? So, and most women want that anyway. So I think if you act in those ways and choose based off of those qualities that I just talked about, I think you'll be in good hands. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.